Underwriting situation with us financing this house is very unusual.
No, I don't think so.
What we've discovered is that because I'm so intertwined financially with all the wives and interconnected, that anytime I'm involved in financing something,
It's very confusing for anybody who looks at our finances. So they keep asking for more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. And it's starting to spread into the other wives as well, like Janelle and Mary and Christine, everybody. They're just wanting
after
so much
this
information.
experience.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Monday, February 17th, 2025. Cody and Robyn Brown's out of control spending has been a huge issue in the family. And today in 2025, there are a couple of women that are fighting to get paid for the money they contributed to property on Coyote Pass. Get money back from money that they say they paid for Cody and Robyn for a down payment to purchase their home, a home that they've already sold now, and they have a new property because Cody can never stay in one place long enough for a creditor to figure out he's committed fraud. That's just my opinion. But Cody and Robyn have never been able to afford a home on their own and relied on a lot of other women to fund their lifestyle. And now those women are coming calling. Now, we've talked a lot on this channel about how men in polygamy do this all the time because they believe the money is theirs. All of the women are their property and the money belongs to them, meaning the women leaving in the men's eyes have no right to claim any of their money because in the men's eyes, the money belongs to them. The women were property just like the money. And so when the woman leaves, she's lucky if she gets anything at all. And that's why it's super important for a woman to be able to get the position as a legal wife so that she actually has a remedy to get money if she were to divorce Cody. Now, something I think is super important to note is that Robyn was sowing seeds of doubt and sowing seeds of you can leave at any time for as long as she was a part of the family. And when they proposed building a one house, I went back and watched older episodes and I realized Cody actually developed the house plans and created this idea because this was what Robyn wanted. There was an episode where Robyn was meeting with the women and it was titled Why Not One House? And Robyn said that the reason why they needed to build this house was because they wanted to be viewed as first class polygamists. She said that polygamists are often looked at as poor, living in poverty, on food stamps, and on Medicaid and abusing the welfare system. And she wanted to create a world where they had more, that this was first class. And when that dream didn't come to fruition, Robyn, like Cody, was upset. And Robyn then blamed Christine for destroying Cody's one house idea. But really, the one house idea was Robyn's idea all along. She even admits to telling Cody that it would be great for him to build one house so he had like a ranch, just like his parents did in Wyoming.
We've decided we're a family. The day you decide you don't want to be a family, you got to have an asset that you can sell as you move on. We buy you out. I mean, I'm just being realistic here, you guys.
I don't want to trap anybody here, and I don't want to be trapped here. I know not every relationship is perfect right now, but I don't think anybody's considering leaving. But I think we all should have the right and freedom to leave, even Cody.
It's my belief that Robyn exerted her influence over Cody and made him think that they should do this one house, even though Cody knew the other women didn't want this. And Robyn, being the dutiful wife, was trying to encourage Cody to have his delusional palace because Robyn wanted a palace too. The king and queen wanted their palace. And Robyn, I think this one house idea was a double-edged sword. Because on the one hand, I think they wanted their palace. But on the other hand, I think they knew if they didn't get the palace, they could tell people, all right, you can leave. So no matter what happened, there was no winning. If they got the one house, the whole house would be in Cody and Robyn's name because they're the legal wife and husband. The only other way that they could qualify is if everyone else was on the mortgage, which would be challenging. This home would have been multi-million dollars to build. It had 16,000 square feet. In order to build a 16,000 square feet home in Flagstaff at that time, they would have had to spend like $4 million. There was really no way that this house was ever going to get built. Cody knew it and Robyn knew it. That's why in the middle of this, Cody and Robyn then start lobbying for people if they want to leave, they should be able to leave. And Cody positions this as, we need to have a buyout and an asset for you if you want to leave. Why would you be positioning this if your family was supposed to be a unit? If you all took covenants together forever to be a family, why would you then present an option to get bought out? Unless you knew that this concept of this house was only a concept. And then it's perfect because then when the concept falls apart, Cody and Robyn can use that as a scapegoat and say, well, you guys ruined his vision. It's all Christine's fault. It's all Mary's fault. It's all whoever's fault.
I do. I want a huge house. I just know what I want. I want a big home for family to come home to. My big goal with having a big home out on this property is for our kids to come home.
Once the one home idea blew up, obviously we know what happened. They never built. But Robyn never let go of this idea that she wanted to get a really, really big house. She wanted a huge house. She wanted a house so big that when the home was built, all of their kids could come home to. Robyn never gave up on the idea of having a palace for the king and the queen. She wanted to recreate a space where she could have her kids come back with their kids to stay with their mom and dad. I'm doubtful that they ever had a home, her parents. Paul and Reva were not wealthy. Paul Sullivan was not wealthy. He worked for the city. He didn't have money. The family didn't have money. Robyn has never had money. But what Robyn did come from is extreme poverty. And I spoke to someone that knows Robyn over the weekend to get a little bit of more understanding about why she's the way that she is. Because something has never made sense to me. Robyn grew up in extreme poverty. Extreme poverty. She grew up on a compound, a cult compound in Ravalli County in Montana. She lived in a trailer with a father who was lazy and barely worked and was abusive and controlling and a megalomaniac and an egomaniac. And her mom was the first wife, but it didn't matter in the case of Reva and the other wife because her dad, Robert, was such a narcissistic egomaniac and so controlling that the position of the wife mattered none. He contributed nothing. The women had to basically take care of themselves. And when Robyn's mom finally left him, they were living in a trailer. She grew up in a trailer on a compound in a cult. She was dirt poor. They moved to St. George. She ends up with Paul Sullivan, who's 15 years older, Reva does. They never live in the same city. She still grows up poor in St. George. No matter where she lives, she's poor. And then after high school, she moves back to Ravalli County in Montana, and she is in a trailer with her husband, David Preston Jessup. When she and Preston got divorced, they lived in a trailer, a single wide, that was less than 1,000 square feet. Less than 1,000 square feet. She had 3 kids and him, and they were all in a trailer. They lived on a cult compound, but they weren't in the cult. She then moves back to Utah after she decides to leave Preston and leaves Preston in so much debt that she has her sights on something else, something bigger, something more. She never had a dime until she met the Browns. And the Browns didn't have a dime until they started the show. And now all the money that she has is built off the backs of everyone else because Robyn has not had any other job other than appearing on Sister Wives. All the other women were working 2 or 3 jobs in conjunction with working on Sister Wives. Robyn was never never had to have another job. Sister Wives Closet hasn't been selling since 2019. Barely was selling after 2017. She hasn't been working at all other than being on Sister Wives. So Robyn was the oldest daughter of her mom's marriage to Robert. She then became the second oldest daughter because Paul had a daughter that was older than her named Lisa. And Robyn has been trying to be better than her older sister and the rest of the members of the family. And she's living in this island of pretentiousness. And so I was asking this person that knows her, that's really related to Christine. She's cousins with Preston, is close to Preston. And I said, why would she keep spending like this or spending so out of control? And she said that Robyn came from such poverty that when you come from that kind of poverty, according to this family member, there's no time to think about saving money because there's no money to save. Money is spent as quickly as it's made. And so there's no education or governance around saving money or budgeting. The concept that Robyn learned how to budget, they found laughable because she's never budgeted ever. Robyn is compulsive in her shopping, and the shopping is an addiction because it fills a need for Robyn, and she gets high off of it because of how she feels when she buys. And then because she's never learned that she needs to save, and because there was never money to save, she doesn't know how to save, and she's never educated herself on saving, nor has Cody. Cody also grew up very poor and also comes from that same sort of poverty mindset of, like this family member was saying, that when you don't have the money, nobody's talking about saving. There's no concepts about 401ks. No one's thinking about estates because there's no estates to be had. And so Cody and Robyn aren't thinking long term. They're only thinking about the here and now. They're treating this like it's never going to run out. It's never going to end. And they absolutely used the other women to fund their lifestyle, which is also super common in polygamy. The husband will have a favorite wife, and then all the other women are supporting the favorite wife and him. And then they get whatever they get. Robyn knew how to become the favorite wife. She used her skills to get there. She never let go of this idea of wanting to have a palace, wanting to be on a compound and be the quintessential perfect polygamous, wealthy family. Robyn had an idea in her head of what she wanted to represent to the world. That's why she won't let go of this. It has nothing to do with, in my opinion, the faith, and everything to do with her trying to show up to everyone around her that she grew up like, look at me, I'm so rich. The problem here is that they're spending more than they're making, and they're spending it faster than they make it. It's unsustainable. And Cody's playing and acting like a rich man, but he's not thinking like a rich man, because a rich man would save. People don't become wealthy because they make money. They become wealthy because they save money. If Cody invested the money instead of in assets, as he claims, if he had real assets or even just stuck it in a bank and made minimal interest, he would have money. But right now he's just accumulating things so that he appears wealthy. That's all that this is for Robyn and for Cody. It's the appearance of wealth. It's the appearance of affluence. It's the appearance of, look at me now. And now that they have women coming after them, they want to pretend like they didn't say in season 14 that they would buy them out. Cody said, I will buy you out. We will buy you out. You need to have an asset for when you leave. That was something he kept proposing for years. We'll buy you out. So for them to come back to him and say, okay, you said we would get a buyout. I want my buyout. And then Cody says, we have no money. Because Cody wasn't thinking long term, and he doesn't care about long term. And he probably had no intention of ever buying them out because he knew that he didn't have to. Because both Robyn and Cody also admitted on the show that women that are not married to the men have no legal recourse whatsoever to anything. And they have to expect the husband or the husband's wife to play fair, which they never planned to play. And now it's all catching up with them. And right now, they live in a home that is like a compound. I did a search of it on Google Earth, and it has a gate all the way around it. It's gated to get into it. It's on 2.5 acres. It's not a huge compound, but it definitely has outbuildings and it looks compound-ish. And it looks awful like you would want if you what you'd want if you wanted to have more wives. Because it has a whole guest house, which I'm sure she'll try to have one of the kids live in, maybe Dayton, maybe her mom. I don't know. But they're not letting go of this idea, even though the show can't continue in the way that it's continued. Their spending is a product of their upbringing. And the friend and the family member said to me that in Robyn, what they see is a trauma response and that it doesn't justify what she's done, but it helps explain why she does what she does. It's a trauma response to growing up poor, her behavior with Cody, with the possessiveness and the manipulation and all of that is a trauma response to how she grew up and the neglect she felt from her father, the abuse, being abandoned by her dad, and then left with her mom growing up in an unstable environment around abusive men, and then being taught by her father that her only role was to be a breeder, that she had no significance outside of her uterus. And so she's still trying to prove to people that she has more significance than her uterus and more power than her uterus. And that's why it was important for her, this friend says, to be the top wife because it was her only way that she could have authority of any kind. She didn't want to be powerless. But now Cody and Robyn are still holding all of the power. And at some point, the cards will fall. It's just a matter of when. Christine's lawsuit is ongoing. Janelle and Mary's lawsuit hasn't even started. Coyote Pass is still being fought over. But Cody and Robyn now have a home that has a $11,000 a month mortgage minimum, taxes, insurance, and a homeowners association. Yep, that's right. I found out there's a homeowners association for the home that they live on. And the home that they live at is right by a mine, an active mine for cinder, which is drilled for cinder along with rock, and it releases carcinogens into the air. And the people that live in this area have complained about pollution, restrictive air, health conditions. They literally moved next to a active cinder mine. And Robyn is the one that wanted everyone to be careful because of her health. The irony of it all. And it's probably why the home itself has had so many different owners because of the drilling, the noise, the dust, the debris. That's been a huge problem in that area for years. So that's why Cody and Robyn are doing what they're doing. Will they ever get caught? I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.